Hey y'all, welcome to the Charles Miller Show. Alright, before I say anything about refreshing all that, Rex Ryan was just fired about 10 minutes ago. It is time for Chip Kelly and Howie Roseman to get on the phone with Rex Ryan because he just got fired. Still breaking news on NFL Network. Get on the phone. Don't let him take a head coaching job. Take him. Alright, today we got sports. We're going to talk about the Eagles finale a little bit. And we're going to talk about my thoughts on the 2014 season. And then I'll give you a playoff picture and preview. We got some hot topics and an inspiration today. It's coming from Oprah on the topic of greatness. Alright, it's time to start the show. Here we go. The Eagles beat the Giants yesterday. Some things that I paid attention to was Jalen Watkins and Nolan Kittle because they got a lot of playing time. Nolan Kittle was, he wasn't as impressive as I thought he would have been because he did a couple of plays like that play to not Randall. I don't know. Ruben Randall. I just tossed the ball up, but it was just like really good defense, just a perfect pass and catch. Jalen Watkins, he played good for this to be his very, very first defensive snaps of the year. I can't believe it's the first time he even played defense, but he played really well. There were some plays where he looked like a rookie, and there was other plays where he looked like, he's showing some promise. Even though we won, Mark Sanchez didn't look good. I mean, he didn't look good at all. The special teams, remember I said the explosiveness from the special teams was going and actually returned because we got a punt block for a touchdown. The first time one of Steve Weatherford's punts had ever been blocked, so that was good. And the Eagles finished the season 10-6. They'll get the number 20 draft spot. Very disappointing because they won't be playing next week or the week after that. Alright, so the 2014 NFL season, my thoughts. I thought there were a bunch of surprises. Let's just look at, the Seattle Seahawks. St. Louis Rams, even though they're not making the playoffs, they did really good this season. I mean, for the Rams. I mean, they beat both of the teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. They were in almost every game that they played in. Like, they really didn't get blown out. So they were a couple of games away from being in the playoffs, really. I think the Arizona Cardinals were a big surprise. They shouldn't have been, but they are. Because, look what they did. Damn near got the number 1 seed with like a third string quarterback in there. So that just shows nothing but good coaching. That's what Arizona has, good coaching with Bruce Arians, and that's something to be proud of. It was the officiating this year was some of the most horrible officiating I've seen in recent years. I mean, maybe because of the rule changes, but something's got to change. Because the officiating this year was horrible. Terrible. The season was fun to watch. Cowboys were a surprise too because, everybody was expecting them to have a December debacle. I wasn't, because they look like a different team this year. I mean, I like to see what they do in the playoffs. They won't win the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure of that, but I like to see what they do. Very scandalous. We had people beating their kids until they left marks on them, and then we had other people beating their wives. A couple of players beating on their wives. Then the NFL lied to try to cover everything up. Roger Goodell mainly tried to lie to cover everything up. And I think changes in the NFL front office has to be made, starting with Roger Goodell. He needs to be fired or relieved of his duties. Alright, on to the NFL playoff picture. So the AFC goes like this. Number 1, home field advantage goes to the Patriots. 2 seed, the Broncos. So those are your first round buys in the AFC. Broncos and the Patriots. Then you got the 3 seed, the Steelers. The 4 seed, the Colts. And then your 2 wild card teams are the Bengals and the Ravens. So 3 AFC North teams made it. Could have been 4 if Cleveland got their stuff. No, only could be 3 at the most. Alright, and NFC, you got the Seahawks number 1, which is scary. You got Green Bay number 2, which is also scary. So your first round buys, that's probably going to be the NFC Championship. I don't see either of them losing at home. Then you got the Cowboys number 3, the Panthers, who annihilated the Falcons, number 4, and they're on fire. So they might actually beat whoever they play. They play Arizona next week. They might actually beat Arizona, who is number 5 seed, and then you got Detroit as number 6 seed. My initial Super Bowl picks go like this. I'm looking at first, I got 2 different games. I got Patriots versus Seahawks or Patriots versus Packers. More likely Patriots versus Seahawks. And my initial Super Bowl champion prediction is the New England Patriots. Alright, we got hot topics. An AirAsia jet went missing, and there were 162 people on board. My thing is, this is the 3rd plane this year that went missing. How? How did something that big go missing? I mean, it's confusing to me. Really. It's really confusing to me. And they have, like, they said people are looking for, like, the 7 helicopters and 7 Navy ships are looking for it. How did you not find the plane? My question is, did they ever find that first plane? The Malaysian Airlines? I don't think they did. I don't remember hearing about them finding that plane. Alright, Chris Rock and his wife Malak are getting a divorce after 20 years. They decided to go their separate ways, but they said they will still keep their children first, which is a good thing. Sad that they get a divorce. Yeah, or celebrity divorces, but it's alright. They got 2 kids. One is 12 and the other one is 6 or 8. Alicia Keys and her husband Swizz Beatz welcome their second child into the world. The second child is a boy just like the first child. Alright, so on Saturday's show, y'all remember I said, Jeb Bush, America doesn't want you. Alright, well apparently I was wrong, because he is, according to a recent poll, he is the GOP frontrunner. Well, taking 23% of the vote, and the next person only has about 11%. That's scary. America actually wants Jeb Bush. But also on the other side, Hillary Clinton is the Democratic frontrunner, followed by Elizabeth Warren. But Hillary Clinton got about 66%, and Elizabeth Warren only got about 9%. I like Elizabeth Warren. I think she's brilliant. But I will not be voting for Elizabeth Warren. It is Hillary Clinton time. I've been waiting since 2008 for this woman to get in the office. I'm not letting nobody take it from her. It's her time. Alright, that's all for Hot Topics. Alright, for inspiration, like I said, we're going to get it from Oprah. And Oprah said, we need to think like kings and queens, because kings and queens are not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. We're familiar with the topic of failure. We took failure and we made failure about success. This time, we already been taught that failure on this show, that failure leads to success. But failure also leads to greatness. I won't tell you how. Failure is meant to mold us into great people. Honestly, some people you probably saying, no, failure is just something that'll knock you back. But no, it's not. It's something that should help you move forward, because you learn it from the failure process. And we are destined, every single one of us, we are destined for greatness. We just gotta work towards it. You gotta reflect on your failure, and you gotta do better. When you know better, you do better. Let's just take Oprah's life, for example. She's had her fair share of failures. You know, she did that Oprah Winfrey Show for 25 years. Y'all think that was a success right away? You don't think she had a couple of failures? I can tell y'all she did. When she first started, there was another talk show host by the name of Phil Donahue on TV. Some of you are familiar with Phil Donahue. And he was the ratings juggernaut. And her boss, when she first got the job, told her, I'm not going to ask you to be Phil Donahue because I know you'll fail at that. And she did at first. But then she eventually beat Phil Donahue. And then look at her network on. We all know the story about that. Everybody was on her because when it first started, the ratings were a failure. The network was a failure. She thought it was a failure. He thought it was a failure. Every news station thought it was going to be a failure. But what people don't know is greatness takes time. And now the network is doing fine, and she's making it great like she made her show great. So, She did have failures with that show. A lot of shows got canceled. She had a Rosie O'Donnell show on there that got canceled because it wasn't bringing enough ratings and it was failing. Her network was in the bottom of the bottom tier networks. But then she came up with shows like the Tyler Perry shows on there, Has and Have Nots, and Love Thy Neighbor, for better or worse, and then her show, which is an Emmy award winning show, Super Soul Sunday. Then the Y'all Fix My Life, and the ratings start going up. Sweetie Pies, the ratings start going up, and now the network is great. So, like I said earlier, we are all destined for greatness. So, this is the weekly assignment. Use failure as a tool to help you achieve greatness. Once again, use your failures as a tool to help you achieve greatness. Alright, that's our show for today, everybody. I thank you all for watching the show today. Please continue to share and view the show. Eagles, please call Rex Ryan. And I'll see you later, everybody.